Time value of money is one of the principles in finance. It implies that a dollar received today is worth more than a dollar received a year from now. Let's go through a few examples. Assume that today is the 10th of October, 2021, and the rate of inflation is expected to be high from now till the end of next year. You pay $10 for a pizza today. Next year, 10th of October, 2022, you may have to pay $12 for the same pizza. In other words, the $10 you have today is worth more than the $10 you have a year later. You can buy a pizza for $10 today, but next year, you cannot buy the same for $10. Next, you pay $1 for a can of Coke today. Next year, you may have to pay $1.10 for the same can of Coke. The $1 you have can buy you a can of Coke today, but not a year later. Next, you pay $10,000 for a car today. Next year, you may have to pay $15,000 for the same car. As you can see, the $10,000 you have is more powerful now than later. Visualizing time value of money with timeline. In the world of finance, a timeline identifies the timing and stream of cash flows, along with the interest rate. A timeline is often expressed in years, but it can be expressed in months, days, or pretty much any unit of time. Let's draw a 5-year timeline. The timeline starts from now, which is year 0. A cash outflow of $100 occurs at year 0, followed by cash inflows of $50 and $30 in year 1 and 2. A cash outflow of $20 in year 3 and 4. And finally, a cash inflow of $50 in year 5. Note that a minus sign denotes a cash outflow. It is easier to paint a full picture about the cash flows with a timeline like this. Time value of money is important because of the concepts of compounding and discounting. What exactly is compounding? Compounding is the process of generating earnings on the reinvested earnings. Compounding is used to answer questions like, how much is $1,000 worth after 3 years on compounding interest of 10% per annum? What is discounting? Discounting is the process of calculating the present value of future cash flows. Discounting is used to answer questions like, what is the present value of $1,000 to be received in 2 years from now? Remember this, compounding for the future, and discounting to the present. We will go through some examples in the subsequent slides. Remember, compounding is for the future. Let's look at how compounding works by looking at the interest you earn on your savings or fixed deposit account. There are 2 ways to earn interest. Simple interest versus compound interest. For simple interest, interest is earned only on the principal amount, nothing more, nothing less. On the other hand, for compound interest, interest is earned on both the principal and accumulated interest of prior periods. We will go through some examples in the subsequent slides. Let's start with a simple interest example. Suppose that you deposited $500 in your savings account that earns a 10% annual interest. How much will you have in your account after 2 years? With simple interest, you will earn $50 per year every year. For 2 years, you will make $100. At the end of year 2, you will get the principal $500, plus the $100 interest earned. In total, you will get $600 in your account after 2 years. Another way of saying this is, the future value of your savings after 2 years is $600. Now, let's look at compound interest. Suppose that you deposited $500 in your savings account that earns a 10% annual interest. How much will you have in your account after 2 years? With compound interest, you will earn $50 for the first year. For the second year, you will make 10% interest on top of the $50 you earned in year 1. That is, you will earn $55 for the second year. At the end of year 2, you will get the principal $500, plus the $105 interest earned. In total, you will get $605 in your account after 2 years. Another way of saying this is, the future value of your savings after 2 years is $605. From the previous examples, we can see how the future value is derived from the present value. Present value, or simply PV, is what a cash flow worth today. Future value, or simply FV, is what a cash flow will be worth in the future. The formula is simple. The future value, FV, is equals to present value, PV, multiplied by 1 plus annual interest rate, R, to the power of n. Let's redo the previous compound interest example using this formula. Suppose that you deposited $500 in your savings account that earns a 10% annual interest. How much will you have in your account after 2 years? Using the previous formula, you will end up with the same amount. You will get $605 in your account after 2 years. What if the interest is compounded twice yearly or semi-annually? Let's go through an example. Suppose that you invested $500 for 7 years to earn an annual interest rate of 10%. And the investment is compounded semi-annually. What is the future value of this investment? Basically, you could use the same formula, but you have to figure out the compounding periods per year, m. In this case, semi-annual means compounding occurs twice per year. Therefore, m is equals to 2. In the formula, you just divide the annual interest rate, R, by 2, and multiply the number of years, n, by 2. Just use a financial calculator to calculate the above. The future value of your investment after 7 years is approximately $989.97. We have been looking at compounding and future value in the previous slides. Now, let's take a look at the opposite side. Discounting and present value. Let's say there is a $10,000 to be received in 2 years. What exactly is the $10,000 worth today? Discounting is a technique used to find out the present value of future cash flows to be received. The formula is simple. The present value, PV, is equals to future value, FV, multiplied by the present value interest factor, PVIF. PVIF is equals to 1 divided by 1 plus annual interest rate, R, or better known as the discount rate, to the power of n. Using this formula, you could calculate the present value of the future cash flows. Let's go through an example. How much will $10,000 to be received in 10 years be worth today if the annual interest rate or discount rate is 5%? Just plug in the numbers in the previous formula, and you will get the answer. The answer shows that the present value of your investment after 10 years is approximately $6,139.13. Based on the above, we can say that if the interest or discount rate is higher, the present value will be lower. On the other hand, if the interest or discount rate is lower, the present value will be higher. Let's go through a few more examples. Suppose that you just sold a property for $1 million. But under the sales agreement, you won't receive the money until 10 years from today. What is the present value of $1 million to be received 10 years from today if the discount rate is 5% per annum? Just plug in the numbers into the previous formula. The present value of $1 million to be received in 10 years is approximately $613,913. Next, let's calculate the number of years, n. How many years will it take for an investment of $7,500 to grow to $23,000 if it is invested at 8% annually? Again, plug in the numbers in the formula. This time, we know that at present, we have $7,500, and in the future, we will have $23,000. PV equals to $7,500, and FV equals to $23,000. How many years are needed in order for $7,500 to grow to $23,000, given the annual interest rate is 8%? Hand calculation would be difficult for this question. Please use your financial calculator to resolve the above. You will get approximately 14.56 years. Thank you for watching.